Today I was busy with like a lot of things, and I just posted another short on my channel. So yeah, I'm gonna be posting a lot more shorts because I realized they're actually very good for in like engagement really. um but yeah, so anyway, without further ado, let's just get into the charts. um I'm at a point where I just want to let's get into the charts, man. Let's let the charts speak for themselves. So yesterday we had a really tight margin. We had a really tight risk that we would have worked with yesterday, right? So this was yesterday's setup. This one right here, let me just do that. That was yesterday's setup, right? We saw that long term we were seeing a buy. I'll show you guys the buy. The buy is from last week, Thursday or Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So this was what we saw yesterday, and we saw that should it go down there, we'll just take that sell, and then if it breaks, we'll just let it break. And it sorry, my bad. It broke. As you can clearly see, it broke. Um, which is not too bad. I think the risk here was like only 40 points, right? We only had a 40-point risk, so that's not too bad. Considering how much we were willing to gain. Um, what can I say about what happened yesterday? I just feel like it was very hard to. You see, the reason why I didn't even want to join yesterday's upward movement. I will say this though. I just realized this now, and I think I should do. Wait. Next stream, I promise I'm gonna start having a journal with me. I think I'm realizing that I need a trading journal. I really need a trading journal. Okay, but I think I'm realizing now, like, look, considering where, look, it bought up until this point, right? It bought up until that point. So after it broke here, it broke until there, and then it went down. You could really argue that the only reason why it went up at this point, you could, honestly speaking, considering how, like, look at this, bro. Look at this. Look at how quickly it bought from here to here. And then notice how it just so happens that, hey, here we had an indicator to sell. Here we had an indicator to sell. There we had an indicator to sell. Not only that, but here and here, I know there weren't indicators because I did check. But just notice how at this point and this point, and then it stopped here. My point that I'm trying to say is, I think here there was a lot of people that were trying to be stopped out, and that's why the market rushed to these points like here, there, there, and there. And I think, I think, I really think so, bro. I really think that's why the market moved up against our trade. I really think that's what happened because, like I said, besides this, bro. Besides, had you taken a buy here, where would you have taken it to? Would you have wanted to come here? It doesn't really make that much sense. Why would you wanna only like get that much? You know? Would you also really wanna just like get up until there? So I really think that's what happened. But I will say it's worth making note of that. Should I don't know where would we have entered if we tried to buy this market. I'm just thinking now because it's not something I really have tried before. It's something I'm being open-minded to. It's not something I would recommend for um it's not something I would recommend, period. But I'm just considering, because I mean, you got to know how the market moves. So I'm just considering, if we were hypothetically looking at trying to buy when the market was doing all of this, where would we have entered? You know, I think here, let me see what I think. I think in the 5 minute or the 1 minute, if we can find an indicator for a buy somewhere here, that would be very good. On the 5 minute, I'm not seeing any indicators. So on the 1 minute, if there was an indicator to buy there, if there was an indicator to buy there, that would be something like great to just like take note of, you know. And look at that, there was an indicator to buy. Let me do this. There was an indicator to buy. In fact, there was an indicator to buy at that specific point. So considering what we just noticed now, let me do this. I'm going to add more indicators to buy and just analyze this trend a bit more. Let's analyze this trend a bit more. Let's just see what's happening with this trend. Why did it go like this? What's the meaning of this trend? Why did it do all of the things that it was doing yesterday? Okay, let's draw a trend line and analyze this trend. Let's draw a trend line and analyze this trend. Okay, cool. So we have that trend line over there, and then okay, now one thing I can definitely say from this, right, is that it would have been like realistically speaking, bro, it would have been very hard for me to actually, you know what, considering the fact that this went against our trade, I think there's a lot more I could learn from this instead of feeling like I know, right? So let's do this. I'm gonna change the color of this because I feel like it's just a whole bunch of colors right now. So let's do this. I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna draw a rectangle around this area. Okay, let me make the rectangle a different color. Let me make that rectangle white. Right? Okay, cool. Now I'm trying to get an understanding of what was happening around this price. Let's do this. I know what to do. And then remove that. And then spread that a bit more open so we can analyze this right here. Okay. I think we're learning something a bit new in regards to indicators and their behaviors on trend lines or around trend lines, right? I'm also learning something new here. So this is obviously the trend line, and this was the first indicator that we saw, and we saw this indicator and we were like, I think I saw this indicator on the 5 minute because it's not here on the 1 minute, so it has to be on the 5 minute. So today, I think really today is more of like, I have a bunch of notes on my phone. After this, I'm gonna put this note down. This is very important. So you can see this is the trend line we have. This is our first indicator, right? This indicator was telling us that this thing is gonna sell. So we're waiting for this thing to sell, and it kind of went up a bit. And I showed you guys yesterday that it does tend to do this, where it goes up a bit and then it sells, right? So now we're realizing it went up a bit. By then, shortly after going up a bit, it created what? It created a buy indicator. You see, it created a buy indicator. So I think that's something very useful to learn from right now, that when this happens, when we get our first indicator, and then during the course of our first indicator, while it's being tested, quote unquote, we have another indicator that's in another direction, which is this one. I think this would give us a good let me not say indicator, let me say it would reduce the probability. It would reduce the probability of this indicator holding, especially considering the fact that this one just broke right here. Man, these notes are so good. No, I'm writing these down. Hold on. I am writing these down. These are really good, bro. I don't even want to lie to you. Okay, so trend line slash indicator behavior. Trend line indicator behavior, right? When the indicator is being tested. When the indicator is being tested. And what do we mean by that? okay, let me say quotation, when we have an indicator, right? And so when we have an indicator, which is that indicator, and market moves, against it slightly, and market moves. I'm going to take a screenshot of this because I'm writing an ebook basically about this strategy. um, when we have an indicator and market moves against it slightly, right? This is the first form of reduced probability probability reduced form of probability. So we're basically saying, by having an indicator here and it buying a bit like up until this point, it's the first sign that should tell you, okay, the probability of this going down has been reduced significantly because it bought a bit. Not necessarily saying it won't go down at all. Let's say having this indicator here, the probability was like hypothetically 90%, right? So it getting to this point would probably reduce its would reduce its probability by, like, let's say 10%, because I think 10% is not too bad. But now there's an 80% chance that this indicator could still hold, right? But now, when we have an indicator and market moves against it slightly, this is the first form of reduced probability, right? And then the market produces a indicator in the opposite direction, and then the market produces an indicator in the opposite direction, right? And then the market produces an indicator, as you can see here. This is clearly what's important with this strategy for the indicator, is that there should be a minimum of 4 solid candlesticks, right? Not candlesticks, but bars, really. So for example, this right here would also be like a confirmation. That's the confirmation we got. Let me show you. Move up, nigga. That's this confirmation, right? That's this confirmation. As long as there's like 4 solid bars, minimum 4 solid bars, the first light one is where we place our indicator, right? So yeah, like I'm saying, here we have a bunch of solid bars, and the first one with the first light colored one, that's where we put our indicator, right? And then the market produces an indicator in the opposite direction, and then this is the second form of reduced probability. This is the second form of reduced probability. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I think that's the one thing that I can really take away from what happened yesterday. Really learning what happened yesterday and why the market moved against us. So based off of that, I can already see that, okay, this is one of the reasons why market moved against me yesterday, right? And then because the market moved against me, this is another note I'm gonna make, right? Because the market moved against me, and this is what I said yesterday, and why I ended stream early yesterday. I was like, you know what? Because I can see this is gonna move against me, I'm just gonna close this chart. I'm not gonna look for another setup to thingy, to try to counter or to try to one up what happened right now, right? So at that point, it's like, just let it go, bro. let it go, let it move against your um let it move against what you had originally planned, and then come back later to it. So with what I'm trying to say is what I'm noticing right now, that here we had our second indicator, right? We had our second indicator, and from that second indicator, now if you were at a point where you wanted to, let's say, make back what you had lost or whatever, right? Now I would have been like, okay, because we have our first point, our first indicator, our second indicator, let's draw a trend line, and when that breaks, that's where we can try to get money, you know. And look at that, that actually worked out quite well. So I'm not standing on what I'm saying about this one, but it's just an interesting observation, you know. It's very interesting. Yeah, I think that's basically what I have to say about that. It's just a very interesting observation. That's all I'm gonna say about uh, this right here. Because even if I'm saying like we're breaking that, right? So you'd enter there, but what here hypothetically, what would your stop loss be? That's why I'm not really confirming. That's why I'm not really standing on what I'm saying about. Like, I know the take profit will probably be definitely the second indicator right here, but what would your stop loss be? And that's why I'm not really standing on what I'm trying to teach or what I'm trying to learn here. Okay, I get that this is our first TP, right? Because we're saying if this breaks, we'll go down there. But what is our risk? What are we risking, bro? Because I feel like you end up being like acting stupid, bro, trying to chase something, not knowing how much you're really risking. So that's also quite something interesting. Let me see. Okay, how about for our risk? Let's look for a sell indicator here. If we can find a sell indicator somewhere here, and if that sell indicator breaks, then that's our risk. I doubt we're gonna find one though. I doubt we're gonna find a sell indicator there. But yeah. Yeah, this is just backtesting from yesterday. I still need to look at what's happening today. However, I just feel like with everything that's been going on, uh, I I don't necessarily know, you know. So okay, we have a sell confirmation here, right? We have a sell confirmation. This is a bearish candlestick. This one right here, it's a bearish candlestick. So hypothetically, we're saying because remember with this indicator, when this sell candlestick closes, that's our first confirmation, right? So you could probably put that like there. You could probably put that there, you know. I think if you're looking for like a place to risk this strategy or this thing that we're learning right now, I'm also learning this thing. That's why I don't really want to put too much emphasis into it, but it's just an interesting thing. I just feel like with market, this is how you learn. This is how you try to not get fooled by the market, you know. And I'm very glad that I'm doing these lives right now because I personally haven't been. Me personally, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't like looking at the charts when I'm not trading for real. So these live streams are actually a very good thing for me as well. Um, okay, you see now I didn't put in that would be somewhere there. That's a bit too tight, but okay. But anyway, yeah, the point is just learning how to maneuver trend lines with the indicator. That's basically the point. If anyone is trying to learn this, just learn how to work with trend lines and the indicator simultaneously, like the confluence of the trend lines and the indicator. That's the one thing I would like suggest, really. Okay, let's move to today's chart, bro. Let's move to today. Let's move to today. What's happening today? Let's forget a bit about what's been happening, what happened yesterday, because we know that what we just studied was the reason why what happened just happened. So let's continue from the structure at that point, right? As much as I feel like that structure has been fulfilled, let's continue with that structure. Let me remove this because that was our entry from yesterday, right? So now we're looking at a trade for today, right? We're looking for a trade for today, and I'm sorry, I don't clean my charts. The thing is, sometimes I feel like I want to. Yo, sorry guys if you guys are saying something in the chat and I can't see it. My PC is off. My PC is very thingy, bro. Okay, so now the first thing that we do at this point, we're trying to look for structure, right? We try to look for structure. Let me go to the 1 hour. Let me just see what's happening in the 1 hour. Okay. Okay, it looks like on the 1 hour it still does look like a sell. I know it's kind of hard to see with all the markings, but on the 1 hour it looks like a sell. So on the 1 hour over there it looks like a sell, but here it still does look like a sell. Okay, 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 okay. I know what to do. 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 Okay, I'm gonna ignore this buy right here for a couple of seconds, right? I'm gonna ignore this buy right here. I'm gonna ignore that buy. I'm gonna ignore that buy, and then I'm going to look for another setup, right? So let's go to our 15-minute. Let's go to our 15-minute. So I'm gonna continue from yesterday's high. I'm gonna continue from yesterday's high, which is this point right here. Gonna create a trend line. Gonna create a trend line from that high to this high. Do that, and then now we're gonna look for indicators, right? We're gonna look for indicators to support what we're seeing. If we see indicators on this trend line, it means we can work with this trend line. If we don't see trend lines, or if we don't see indicators on this trend line, it reduces the probability of this trend line being something of value, you know. So we go to our 5-minute. Let's go to our 5-minute. Let's go to our 5-minute. On the 5-minute, you can clearly see that here there is a form of indicator, although it's not at the top for real. It's right here, and it's right here. That's our first indicator. I'm gonna allow it because the difference in price is not that crazy, right? From there until there. Okay, no, it is a bit wild, but it's still a bit of a high, you know. It's still a bit of a high. Let's rock with it for now. Let's rock with it because I'm still gonna go to the 1-minute time frame and check on the 1-minute what's going on. Otherwise, I'm just going to put that indicator on a different place. Okay, there's another indicator here, right? So this is good. This is good. This is good. I like what I'm seeing right now. I really like what I'm seeing for this trend line that we're looking at. I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing, really. Okay, so we have that. Now let's look realistically for some way we can enter, right? Let's look for some way we can enter. But this is if we're looking for a sell. Remember on the 1 hour, it really looked like market was trying to sell. But now what I'm gonna do before I really convince myself about the sell, let me try to. Okay, that's too straight. Before I convince myself about the sell, let's look for buyers. Let's give buyers an equal opportunity. Let's not be biased, you know. Let's not be biased. So here I'm not seeing any buy confirmations. I'm not seeing any buy confirmations on the 5-minute time frame. There's one here. There's one here. There's one here. There's one there. That's a buy confirmation. And I don't see one on the 5-minute. Let's go to the 1-minute. Let's go to the 1 minute time frame. 1 minute time frame. Cha, cha, cha. 1 minute time frame. This looks good. I like what I'm seeing. This does look good. I like what I'm seeing. This does look good. Okay. Put that there. Then move this. Bring it somewhere here. Right? This is good. So this is somewhat great. Now I'm going to take this trend line. In fact, I can just delete it and draw another one. Because it means that trend line that we were looking at is weak. So let's look for a strong trend line. Strong trend lines, in terms of probability, are the ones that have that indicator that we're using, right? And guys, remember, you don't always have to open the charts and see a setup, bro. It's okay to not find a setup. It's okay to be to miss a setup. It's okay, bro. It really is. There will always be times where you see a formation. You don't always have to open the charts and see a setup, right? So okay, that's what we were seeing there. Now right now I feel like we're looking at a sell. Based off this, I feel like we're looking at a sell. But now my question is, where are you gonna try to enter this sub? Because this, if we were to enter there, that we'll be looking at buyers. It broke that. Sorry, it broke that, and it tried to get close to that point. It didn't really get close to that trend line, because we would have been looking for sells there. So right now I would really say right now I would say look at this. I would say 100% look at this right now. Now hear me out. This is not something I usually do. This is, for me, the spread is too crazy. For me, the spread is really too crazy. It's like 60 point. It has a 60-point spread, and is it really 60 point? No, it's a lot more than 60 point. But yeah, I would really say look for entries around here, around this price. Look for entries around that price. So wait, I'm gonna do something else. There's another way we can find the entry. There's another way we can find the entry for this sell. There's another way we can look for entries for this sell, right? We can do something like that. But now, because we do that, let's do this. Let's look for it properly. Let's look for it properly. Let's continue looking for this entry. Let's look for entry. Now we're mining now. We're digging. We're digging this US30 trade. We are looking for entry by force, bro. That's when that's when we start doing some stuff like this. Okay, let me remove this. Now we're looking for sell indicators, right? Around this point. Let's look for sell indicators around this point. Should we see a sell indicator around here, it would increase the probability of these trend lines that I drew holding, and it would increase the probability of the drawing I just drew holding. So if we see sell confirmations, that's good. If we don't, just reconsider, just reconsider, and don't invest too much. Right now I'm not seeing anything right now. Right now it's not looking good for this trend right now, the one I just drew. Right now it's not looking good for that trend that I just drew. Confirmed. Okay, so we can't find any sell indicators. The only thing we can do now is look for buy indicators, and look for buy indicators that have been broken. That's the only other thing we can do. And if still we do that and it doesn't support our theory, then just let this thing die, bro. Just let it go. Now we're looking for buy indicators that are being broken. That's what we're doing right now. That's the last piece of like trying to look for entry in this trade. So I need to find another buy indicator somewhere here for this to hold. Okay, so you see right now what's happening with the sell. Should there be a buy indicator, I would suggest try to enter. I would suggest try to enter. You see there's a buy indicator there that also got broken and went down. There's a buy indicator here that was there and it got broken. There's another buy indicator here. There's another buy indicator there. I think that's good enough. I think that's good enough. So you see what I'm talking about. Do you see why I'm saying look for a buy indicator, and probability is that that buy indicator will be broken? I mean, not probability, but if you're trying to join this trade. If you're trying to join this trade, I think that I would say that's secondary confirmation of a trend. The primary would be logically looking for sell indicators along the top. This is like secondary. Secondary is like looking at the opposite, right? Looking at the opposite in the sense that here we couldn't find any sell, we couldn't find any sell indicator. So what we did, we're looking for buy confirmations that have been broken, right? So as you can clearly see, we have buy indicators here, it got broken, buy indicator there, it got broken, buy indicator there, it got broken. So had you put in a sell there, you'd kind of be in good margins, you know. So because of this, because of what I'm showing you right now, I would really say you can try to enter, but don't try to go too long. Don't try to go too long. So I think we're seeing a confirmation. Okay, we see a confirmation. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's put this nigga here. Let's put that nigga there. And then now let's do that. Let's do that, and then I'm gonna put this over here, right? That's 100, and that's too much, bro. That's just too much. I'm sorry, that's too much. I'm gonna take it down and put it at like 40. I'm gonna put it there. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put it there, bro. That's just too much. 100 and whatever is just a bit insane. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like this, bro. I like this. This is good. This is a good scalp trade. This is a bit of a risk. This is not something I would suggest for real. This is a bit of a risk, but like I said, don't always this one you can sit out. Me personally, I would try. I would definitely put it in trade here, but this is one of those you can just sit out. This is not something like you should feel like, oh, I'm missing out. Okay. I just want to look for the take profit right now. I want to look for the take profit. Let's go 15 minute. Let's go 15 minute. I think, you see, this is another reason why I don't like removing my old drawings. I think take profit for that one, you could put it like there. I would personally put the take profit somewhere there. That would probably be our first take profit, and then our second take profit. Yo, that is Yeah, everything else was just a bit too crazy. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that, bro. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, like I said, today, I don't see anything too exciting today, really. Um, had I seen an opportunity to buy on the 1 minute time frame, I'd be a bit more excited about the buys. Right now, I'm just seeing this thing selling. Don't know how much it's gonna sell. Um, so yeah, that's why I would probably say, um, take profit around this line. Take profit around that line. Let's make it red. Let's make it yellow. Take profit around that line. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I have to say for today. Um, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna try cleaning up my charts while this thing is gone. I'm gonna try cleaning up my charts for real. Um, I don't know when that will be, but it's just very difficult to work with one hand. Like my setup right now is not really the best. That's what I will say. My setup right now is not really the best. So yeah, let's meet again tomorrow, guys. Let this thing run, and if it hits your take profit, it hits. If it comes back and sells, that's what it is. Which I doubt because of this formation right here. And like I say, don't try. Well, I feel like our take profit is not too crazy. Like um it's not too crazy and unrealistic to the point that yo, I don't know what to say, man. But anyway, I don't want to overanalyze. I think what we just did right now is enough, and it's good. And let's keep it at this. We'll analyze what went wrong or what went right tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Yeti.